Hey everybody, and happy Friday. It's Dr. J at Rejuvenate. Just wanted to talk to you today about kind of making changes, and this is a great time. It seems we may be finally kind of turning the corner in the pandemic, and people are starting to get out and about. But a lot of the people I'm seeing in my practice have basically been stuck in this pattern for the past 18 months or so, where with the initial shutdown, let things slide a little bit, right? They kind of got out of their good habits of exercising and communicating with friends and staying in touch with people, and maybe their nutrition kind of slid a little bit, and they kind of ate a little more fast foods or prepared foods, got a little just tired, and then they're finding themselves stuck in that that behavioral pattern. I really want to kind of break out of it and change. So what we do know about changing and making changes in our life and changing our habits is that we really need to make sure that we are that we recognize that first there's a problem that we want to make a change, and then secondly, kind of are we ready for that change? Are we finding our motivation? And a lot of times, what I talk to people about is finding that motivation is really looking to basically see how it would be to either be back at our ideal weight, or kind of our skin nice and healthy and clean, our intestines nice and clean, and everything working the way they should be. Our hormones are balanced, and we're back out and about out in the community doing things and being with our friends, our family, and really reconnecting with people. So kind of just visualize how great that's going to be. We're going to tie into that a little bit later in that visualization and really getting in touch with those feelings. And then just we want to make small steps, right? Small little incremental changes that we know we can be successful with. We try to make radical changes, kind of going back exactly the way we were before. It's going to be very difficult, and we're going to run into roadblocks, and we're going to stumble and probably fall backwards. So once we're ready to kind of make those changes, and I can help you, kind of guide you through this purpose, on this plan. And that's why I'm making this video now, but also to have you reach out to me if you need help. So what we do know about habits and how easily they're created and how easily they can be changed. And if we identify, with the behavior that we want to kind of change or alter, and we understand and kind of really have to think about this sometimes, what those triggers for those behaviors are. It could be coming home and reaching for a glass of wine or a cocktail. It could be going to a restaurant and kind of eating, just starting to mow on the bread that they put out for you, or the chips and salsa that they put out for you, without really even thinking about it. So that's kind of the area. We actually need to understand the trigger is kind of obviously going into the restaurant and sitting down and somebody presenting you with food, right? We have to see that, or just getting home and automatically reaching for something that's unhealthy. That's the trigger. The behavior is obviously eating the whole bag of chips, or the bread at the table, etc. So these are just being aware of our little habits that we have, and understanding what triggered that, what made that happen for me. And then once you've done the behavior, we need to understand, what was that reward for? It's so easy, like smoking a cigarette. Nicotine, bang, goes right back and hits the receptors in our brain. Alcohol does the same thing. Sugar, hits all those right receptors. But sometimes it's less clear after a workout. Wow, what is that reward? Like, I'm sweating and tired and worn out, right? But if we stop and we think about it, and we sit on that bench before we jump in the shower and run off to our next thing, and we say, wow, my heart, that's beating so strong. Like, oh, wow, I'm breathing. Like, that's really good. I feel good. I feel exhausted in a great way. I feel energized from my exhaustion, not just fatigued from a tired, stressful day, but that a different kind of feeling. And we need to kind of sit with that for a minute and really be proud of that, and just connect with that feeling. When we push the bread away and take water, or a soda water, or a mocktail instead of a cocktail, really kind of pat ourselves on the back and stay with that for a minute, because that was a good decision. And we can make those hormones in our brain activate if we just stay with that feeling and really engage with it. Right, so that's kind of the idea. So we need to identify that we've got a problem, we want to make a change. We have to figure out what behaviors are working against our long-term goals of health and longevity. And then we want to identify what those triggers are and what our rewards are, and really think about those so that we can mindfully make these decisions, right? And that's the idea. And if you do that enough times, all of a sudden, instead of sitting on the couch when you come home or grabbing a cocktail, you're going to grab your partner, your kids, or your dog, or all of them, and go for a walk around the block a couple of times, right? Get out in nature and do that. Or instead of reaching for a cocktail, you're going to go for a soda water with a lime or some bitters, something healthy for your digestion, right? And instead of skipping the gym today because you're just too tired, you're actually going to remember, wow, Last time I left the gym, I felt invigorated, right? And that's way better than feeling fatigued and bummed and sitting on the couch and watching something silly on Netflix. So those are some of my suggestions. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me via email or call the office 831-226-2108. Have an awesome Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon.